we're excited about the start of our fall training and just continuing to build the team and our team chemistry and just tighten that inner circle. And it's been an awesome first month with a lot of classroom sessions and a lot of small group activity and some we haven't really got into some extensive team type activity until yesterday, where we could really inter squad and do a little bit more baseball training, baseball game type play. But it's been great so far. The guys are bringing a ton of energy, and really pleased with just the progress we've made in a month. But this is just the beginning of this journey, and we have the highest of expectations, as everybody knows, and so we still have a lot of growth in a lot of areas. Still evaluating the team and each individual players, and they're still getting familiarized with maybe the training format and the tempo with which things go. But it's been all good, all positive so far, and just excited to keep going because it's more opportunity for growth, more opportunity to improve, and just continuing to build these relationships with these players and them with each other, and really just become a very, very close-knit team.
And I could be wrong. Somebody said maybe you're making a little change, making some guys earn some things, access to the club, different things. What's that about, and what's kind of behind it?
Yeah, so we have a shared language, shared mentality inside of this program, and one of the part of the shared language is we get what we earn, and it speaks to a little bit bigger of a picture of student athletes in general in today's world. They get a lot. They're very fortunate at these premier institutions like Clemson to have everything that they have, and one of those things that as parents or as coaches that you may fight is a little bit of a sense of entitlement. So we just want them to appreciate everything that they have here, because they have so much, and they do appreciate it. But we don't move into the locker room right away with a bunch of gear hanging in the lockers and a bunch of shoe boxes stacked up. Those are things they get to earn as they remove the target maybe from themselves and start to put it on other people. We had a great community service event here last Sunday, and we'll continue to do some community service activities where we get to engage in the community and serve other people. And those are all ways to earn more gear and earn more of our cool stuff, but also just appreciate the things that we do have.
Obviously, you lost some players from last year's squad. Max Wagner was a big one, but as you begin to piece together your roster, how much competition is there all over the field, particularly with the pitching staff and including the incoming freshmen?
Yeah, a lot of competition, a lot of depth from what it looks like early on. I mean, how do you replace the ACC Player of the Year and a guy like Max Wagner, who's just such a stud? But he emerged and he became Max Wagner kind of in the second half of the season, and that's kind of what you hope to simulate, is just that idea of continual growth and improvement. And I think I read a stat that he had 8 or 9 home runs halfway through the season last year, and then ended up with 27 and became the ACC Player of the Year. So the message in there is that it's all about growth, it's all about improvement, it's all about competing and doing it one pitch, one game, one day at a time, and just seeing these guys learning from a guy like Max Wagner, that just keeping that target on, and continuing to improve, and it can accelerate a player, it can certainly accelerate a team.
Hey, kind of piggybacking off of David's question, is the culture inside the program something you thought needed changing when you got here?
No, Clemson baseball is Clemson baseball. I think culture is such a buzzword in college sports today. Culture is something that happens over a long period of time. I think what we can do as a coaching staff is create an environment every single day, an environment that's very structured and very disciplined, that's focused on a high level of compete and high energy, and just bringing a very high level of intensity. And the classroom curriculum, those things about character traits and leadership and servant behaviors, those things coupled with the environment that we're creating over time will create this culture. But the culture of Clemson baseball, that's been set, and that's been like bedrock for a long, long time. And yeah, we may have had a little dip there, but the environment that we're going to create on a daily basis, the players having the mindset on growth and improvement, that will all lead to a compound effect over time of restoring this program back to where it belongs, competing for championships and trips to Omaha.
I guess players like Riley and Willie, obviously we're at Michigan, come here to Clemson. What do they add in terms of, I guess, already an understanding of your culture and how things go and being able to help the players that way?
Yeah, it's great to have some players who are very well versed in just the day-to-day activities, how the training environment is structured, the pace and speed with which things move and transition from segment to segment. It's great to have those guys on board and be a sounding board for the other players. The intangible that they bring is experience. They've played in the College World Series for a national championship. They've both played in 3 regionals. They both bring, much like Tyler Corbett and Ben Blackwell and others who haven't necessarily been here for all of the years of their senior year till they get to their senior year. They just bring experience having at-bats or innings pitched inside of college baseball. They've had more birthdays, and just that experience will lead to allow them to slow the game down in big moments. But Willie and Riley in particular, their postseason experience is certainly an X factor that I know they've talked about with some of the other players, and they're able to to explain some things of maybe why we do some of the things we do and the way we do it. But they're learning too. I mean, they're learning Clemson, they're learning Clemson baseball, they're learning this university, this town, and it's new for them as well. So it's also very much an adjustment for them. But they've been a great addition to a team that's very talented. Just on paper and from first month's eyeballs test, it's a good looking group.